What's up, guys? This is Maxwell Media Inc. I'm your host, Sir Maxwell, and it has been a very long time since I have said that. A lot of things going on, seasonal depression, fascism, bad Taylor Swift albums. If it's not one thing, it is another. But I am back, I am returned. But however, today, I am not solo, and I am also not with Al. But I am with an old friend to the channel. Welcome back, Unicorn of War!
Thank you back. As I sashay down the imaginary red carpet.
Welcome back, Unicorn of War. How does it feel to be back?
I wish it was under better circumstances and under a better Taylor album. I mean, I'm glad to be here. It's gonna be fun talking shit. It's just girl, emergency brings us together.
I mean, so spoiler alert, you've seen the title, you've seen the thumbnail, you've heard my jabs. We're here to talk about the newest Taylor Swift album. But before we do that, I just want to give a little context. I just wanted to be clear that me and Thomas do not listen to Taylor Swift. We don't know who she is. We've never listened to any of her songs before.
No, I've never heard about her until today.
I've never heard a single Taylor Swift song in my entire life. Like, I did not grow up with any media. I've never heard her music before. I don't even know what she looks like. Can y'all tell me what she looks like?
I just assumed that she was a random piece of driftwood. So, so Max, tell me about this Sailor Twift.
So, if you couldn't tell our sarcasm, it's been a lot of people pretending, and when I say pretending, I do mean pretending, that they have no skin in the game, they have no allegiance, love, loyalty for Taylor Swift.
So the thing was, first of all, I didn't even know Taylor Swift came out with a new album, and that's surprising to me because normally, I would never. My relationship with Taylor Swift is that I have no relationship with Taylor Swift.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever in my entire. I can't name one Taylor Swift song. I cannot name one. I've never heard one to completion. But I recognize that she is a mega star in the white world.
Absolutely.
I have some black girlfriends that love it too. To find the Taylor Swift album, I wished that I could do like an incognito window thing because I don't want for them to think that I am a Taylor Swift listener. I really don't want for my algorithm to be affected by this. In fact, I'm going to try to find an alternative way to listen to this because I really don't want. Look, I am someone who's going to listen to every song on this album with an open heart because I am not a Swiftie. I am not someone who has a huge desire to center or celebrate Taylor Swift. But also, at the same time, rarely do I talk about Taylor Swift because I don't listen to her music, nor do I follow her life or career. People ask me, did you listen to Taylor's album? No. My favorites artists are Beyonce, FK, Twigs, Charlie XCX, Tierra Whack. I like a flavor. Like flavored songs, like Sophie, definitely not Taylor fucking Swift. The albums I have on repeat right now are V by Doja Cat, Flume, and Shy Girl. You think I'm listening to Taylor Swift?
I don't watch TV. I feel like no one cares. You don't get an award because you watch less TV.
But that cheering you did? What you cheering? I'm a single mother with nobody that loves me or my child. What you cheering for?
And because of that, their opinion on Taylor Swift is more valid than people who like her music.
Yeah, it's this weird thing that we've both noticed where people are like, I've never heard her before, not even in the background while I'm shopping at Target. But it's like, girl, what do you mean? And the vibe is always because I'm not familiar with her discography, that makes my opinion more valid. Because it's even doing the bare research of what her albums are called or what order she released them in is tantamount to being a rabid Swiftie. Which is insane.
And it's so fucking strange. So before we get into talking about what's going on and everything, I just want to start with my Taylor Swift background. I want to give you my credentials.
Because we believe in context here.
We do believe in context here at Max Media Incorporated. So I, just like everybody else, whether they want to admit it or not, I grew up with Taylor Swift. I remember being in elementary school, and I remember when the You Will You Belong With Me came out, and I remember the music video. I just remember she wears short skirts, I wear a t-shirt. I remember it. I remember it all. I wasn't like a huge fan or whatever because I was 7, but at the same time, it's like I enjoyed her music. She made bops, and I was a child in the 2000s, and I heard the bops. I'm not gonna lie and act like I just haven't heard her shit, you know. So I was like I wouldn't say I was a fan, but I was a member of the general public that liked her music. So going forward, I didn't really get into her until about 2017, and I got hooked into being a swiftie during the Reputation rollout. So I remember, does anybody remember Clever News? I remember Clever News on YouTube. I remember when the story dropped and Clever News reported that Kim Kardashian had released audio, because the TLDR of the story is Kanye West did a music video, and in the music video, it's a lot of celebrities and people in bed together naked. It was wax figures, and there was this line in the song that said, "Me and Taylor might still have sex." Taylor Swift had umbrage with it, and Kim Kardashian at the time released audio that gave the impression that she lied about being okay with it. So, which in retrospective was like, whether she said she was okay with it or not, I feel like maybe hearing it, it's like, you have the right to have umbrage with it, and it's like, you lied and you actually were okay with it, so he can say that it was just really stupid. But at the
especially
time,
given the context of it, it's like, girl, this is the weirdest shit I've ever heard. Like,
this is so stupid. But yeah, no, like, people dragged her, called her a snake, a liar, and like, she was kind of canceled. And I know people get triggered when we say that because she's a billionaire white woman. She can't be. And like, I get it. I do get the concept of like, nobody has the power to deplatform Taylor Swift, and she is not as vulnerable as people that are in marginalized communities. However, I think we can acknowledge that she was going through it, and it was a really, really rough time for her. And, you know, she was just not doing well with the amount of hate, targeted harassment, stalking, and just things of that nature that she was going through. So she did Reputation, and that was a whole thing. And that rollout was really, it hooked me in. I liked Look What You Made Me Do. I dug the album, and it was really, really good, and it made me a fan. And then going up into 2020, Folklore and Nevermore came out. I enjoyed it. I loved it. But 2020 was a great year for me. I know people say 2020 is a great year. Wow. But 2020 was a great year for me because I started being friends with Thomas. And a big cornerstone of our friendship was like me sharing media with him. Because he was like, I don't listen to anything and I don't watch anything. And I was like, well, let's fix that. So I think one of the first artists I did put him onto was Taylor Swift. And I remember we were sitting in my bedroom, but we were on the phone in my bedroom. And
the vibe gave bedroom. The vibe gave two gal pals just chilling, just talking about their favorite artist.
Literally. And we literally went through each album and like reacted to it. Like literally. Like from the self-titled to Folklore. And I remember like he really liked Folklore, but then like, you know, when we got to the earlier stuff, it was not so much. And then when he went home to start listening on his own, he really, really got taken up with Folklore. But I don't know. This is your part of the story, so you take it home.
Yes. Okay, so like Max, I had always like grown up hearing Taylor because like, hello, she was fucking everywhere. But I never really like listened to her. Like, I tended not to like listen to actual like artists or musicians aside from cultural osmosis. Like a nerd, I was like, I just listen to music from video games and movies that I like because I'm a nerd. I was introduced to Taylor by an ex. It was around when the Lover era was coming out, and I really actually enjoyed her work then. And Max reintroduced me to her and made me able to like fully appreciate her body of work. And I just really connected specifically with her songwriting, the way she talked about her emotions, especially to do with like love and self-discovery. And yeah, Folklore is my favorite. Folklore and Evermore. Her songwriting game peaked in that era, I fear. It's
Yes. So what brings us here today is recently Miss Taylor Allison Swift. dropped The Life of a Showgirl. And let me tell you, baby, now that you know we are bona fide Swifties, I feel like it might surprise y'all, or it might not surprise y'all. We think this is the absolute worst album, not only that she has put out, but I think this is like one of the worst albums put out this decade.
I'm sorry, I have to agree. Yeah, because specifically for her caliber, it's easily her worst. Just in terms of like songwriting, I don't know if I would say if it's one of the decade, sure, but it's like it's so aggressively like low tier mid. I'm like, I came away from that album feeling nothing. It's like I never listened to anything.
So like, actually, I want to get into like our criticisms of like the album before we start talking about what everybody else on social media is saying about it. You know,
we need to establish the thing first. That's how storytelling works.
When she first announced the title, because I think her and Cardi B announced their album rollouts like about a couple of days apart from each other, and both albums were like to me, because on the Cardi B front it was like, okay girl, it's been like almost a decade since Invasion of Privacy, and like it's at a point where like it's giving low key I don't care. But however, I was still kind of anticipating it. Taylor, on the other hand, I was kind of getting to a point of fatigue with Taylor, because it just kind of felt like every year she was dropping something, and I was like, excuse me, and I was like, girl, shut the fuck up, we don't want to hear you. I was just like, oh, and I just felt like the 2020s is like the height of Taylor fatigue, because the last couple of years, her last couple of album runs have not been the best. I think the post Folklore Evermore era has really been rife with a lot of controversies and a lot of like and messy albums. I feel like she's never really quite gotten it right, but Taylor Swift is such a massive artist to where she can't really like commercially flop. Like other artists, they can like commercially flop. Like Katy Perry can commercially flop and be like, oh shit, this wasn't good, I need to go back to the drawing board, I need to try something else, because the public is telling me and showing me with their money that this is not giving. But Taylor Swift is just so uniquely popular that I just, even if people are like, we don't like it, it's like, girl, she can very clearly tune that out. So this Life of a Showgirl shit, when I saw it, I was immediately unimpressed, because the aesthetic, the name, I'm like, what? It just looked, I genuinely felt like, is this a April Fool's prank? Is this her Halloween costume? Like, I don't, like, what is this giving?
It is Halloween orange. It is.
It's like, what is she trying to, ooh, girl, you get on my nerves. Like, it got on my nerves just looking at it. And I was like, I know this is going to be so fucking boring. I knew it. I know people are going to say, oh, of course you're going to say it. No, yes, I am going to say it. It looked boring to me. It looked very, very boring. So, of course, I was just not excited about it. But Thomas was like, oh, you should be excited about it because she's working with Max Martin and Shellback again. And that's who she worked with 1989 with. And 1989 is one of my favorite Taylor albums, so he was like, oh, you should be excited. It's going to be this, like, poppy production.
I'm so sorry I tried to give you hope. I'm so sorry.
Yeah. And then, like, her and her team was like, oh, it's going to have, like, the synths and sounds of 1989, but the storytelling of folklore. And I was like, okay, interesting. But I still, like, didn't expect much. I just didn't expect much of it, because I was just like, because like I think with Midnights I was just kind of more disappointed with that album, because I was like, it's not that it was bad, it just didn't really impress me. I mean, don't get me wrong, Midnights had bops like Snow on the Beach and Karma, not the Ice Spice version, and Anti-Hero, Lavender Haze. There was some stuff on Midnights that I liked, but I just felt like, I think my frustration with Midnights mostly came in from the fact that I think it was that Grammy year. It was SOS for Album of the Year versus Midnights, and I think everybody was like SZA, and it was Taylor. And I think that was like what lit the fuse on the match of like the anti-Taylor shit. Because I think also at the time, she was either on the Eras tour or wrapping up the Eras tour, and Beyonce was also at not on the Eras tour, but she was doing the Renaissance tour. And as y'all might know, me and Thomas, we were at the Renaissance tour. Hey,
we were, and we won the fucking mute challenge, for the record.
Won the Houston Night 2 mute challenge. Yes, so we did that, right? But like that sort of time, it was fueling a lot of comparisons versus Beyonce versus Taylor, SZA versus Taylor, you know, and it was like this like positioning of like Taylor being a white women's being put up against these black women's. And, you know, we'll get more into that as we like dissect, you know, the MAGA allegations. But like, I'm just telling you like a little bit of the cultural context of why I was kind of becoming dissatisfied with her. Also during this time, there were a lot of re-recordings and re-releases of her old albums, because, you know, the tea was like she fell out with her old recording company and, you know, about the rights to her masters, and she's like, you know what, I'm gonna re-record them. I'm not gonna buy them back because y'all not let me buy them back, so I'm just gonna re-record them. No one says I can't do that. Now, since there have been like, the industry is kind of trying to shift to where people can't do that anymore, but Taylor gets to do it, so she's done it. So it just felt like she's releasing a lot, and it just felt like she wasn't slowing down. And it was just like, ooh, girl, I'm tired of hearing him. And then Tortured Poets really made me lose it, because it was like, it felt like so much focus on words and writing and prose that it felt like the sonicness of the song, like the musicality of the songs was not there. And it was like, at a point, Taylor, girl, you should just write a book. This doesn't even feel like some of the songs didn't even really necessarily feel like music to me, because it was just like, oh girl, it's just a lot of talking, and a lot of talk singing, and not a lot of vocals, not a lot of melody. And I just was quite frankly bored by the album. I think the only song I liked off the Tortured Poets department was Albatross. That's it.
And it wasn't even the main album.
It wasn't even the main album. And then I think, you know, the variants and all the just a lot of shit going on where people just are really annoyed with her. And by extension, I was annoyed with her, but I was also annoyed with her because I know she could do better. I sang things like I love Folklore Nevermore, but I also like Lover. I also like Reputation. I also like 1989, you know, and I just feel like she is capable of a lot more than this. And I just feel like it was more quality over quantity. It was more quantity over quality. And I was just like, ugh, I didn't like it. So then when we get to this, I just feel like every song sounded the same. Every song was boring. If there was a story, I could barely find it on this album. I feel like this album, she put the synths down. Put the synths down
quickly. It's
like not a lot of variety of instrumentation. Not good. There were no good features on it. And yes, I know Sabrina Carpenter was on this album. That was a waste of a feature. A waste of a feature.
It feels like ever since the success of Folklore and Evermore, she's gotten to a very comfortable space, like where she doesn't feel like she needs to experiment or grow anymore. Because like, really, when you boil it down, the sonic palette of Midnight's, Poets, and Showgirl, it's all this hazy, like synth pop kind of vibe, and it's not really engaging anymore, because before this it felt like Taylor liked to play with genre a lot, and that would always influence like the sound and the storytelling vibe of each new era. We don't really get that anymore, and this feels like the ultimate culmination where she's not growing anymore. She's kind of regressing. This is like the least expansive, least experimental thing that she's done.
Okay. So, like, you tell me why you were, like, not feeling this album.
Okay. Well, okay. So, I am a storytelling girly, and I am a sadness girly. I enjoy sad things. So, Tortured Poets, I can acknowledge, was very far from her strongest album. I still managed to enjoy it because I could find the story within those songs, but I can acknowledge that overall as a body of work, it was really lacking in polish, and especially like musicality, like you said. It felt like the sound of that album was an afterthought. This album, this album, there was no story to be found. Kind of from when she announced it and how it was about her new relationship and the Eras tour, my immediate thought was, that doesn't feel like enough material to like make an album with. Like, what the hell are you going to talk about? Like, and the answer is nothing. I walked away from this album feeling like I didn't get to see the life of a showgirl. I don't feel like I got really insights into like her relationship with Travis, why she loves him, what her life has been like buying back her masters or being on tour. I feel like I just got a lot of nothing with like some catchy melodies, but that's kind of it. Like, if I want catchy melodies that are poppy like this, I'll just go to like 1989. Like, I am, you know me, 1989 is not one of my favorite Taylor records, but I have come to really appreciate it as a body of work, as one of the pop Bibles. I think especially standing next to Life of a Showgirl, you can really see the story behind the love and the struggles with fame that are on 1989, that are expressed not only through like the lyrics, but especially the sonic palette, that are just not there in Showgirl. Showgirl feels like a barren wasteland of insincere synths.
Yeah, like literally, I think the only song that me and Thomas can agree that we can like, you know, shake our shoulders to is "Fate of Ophelia," and that's literally.
And you know it's bad when it's the opening track.
Like, and I literally think that's just because of the instrumentation and like her vocal performance of it. Like, but the story is like, girl, what? You saved me
Get
for the
Ophelia's name out your goddamn mouth, bitch.
So, Thomas, tell them, what is the fate of Ophelia?
Okay, so admittedly, I am not an expert on this one because weirdly enough, like back in high school, Hamlet was the one like Shakespeare play that in my classes we didn't talk about. We talked about like literally everything else except for this one. So, to my knowledge, Ophelia is this girl who ends up drowning herself in a river because she is just driven into hysterics by the men around her. She's not allowed to have any agency over her life, and that is the tragic fate of Ophelia, is that she meets her demise because her ability to have autonomy is out of her hands. It's not because of like because she was like scorned in love or whatever, but Taylor has taken that story and has made it like, I've suffered these heartbreaks, these two, like the double heartbreaks she was talking about on Tortured Poets, but Travis saved me from like giving into my melancholy, so he saved me from the fate of Ophelia. And many people have pointed this out. I shall also point this out. Ophelia, a man does not save you from the fate of Ophelia. A man puts you in the fate of Ophelia. He drives you into the river, girl.
All right. This is Maxwell from the future coming in. Listen, all the shade I threw with the people who didn't do their motherfucking research, girl. How come my delusional ass did not realize that there was a music video to Fate of Ophelia, and then in the middle of the video, I'm like, girl, she didn't even do no music videos. She did do a music video. And why the music video was cut? The music video was cut. The music video was tea. It was giving Shakespeare. Oh, the music video, the visuals. And like, this is why I'm saying like visuals really, really do elevate. Visuals really, really do elevate like how much a song, how much a project can really resonate. Because the song is still, the Fate of Ophelia is still, you know, but like, it is the best song on the album for better or worse, and I just feel like, you know, the costumes, the drama, the fact that it's long tracking shots, and then then it cuts to her changing outfits, and then the cute little dance, and then the 20s inspired inspired flapper outfits, and just everything was just giving, and it was cute, and it was aesthetic, and it was vibe. And I was like, yes, Taylor, yes, oh mother, you ate this. This is what I'll give her with this video. She ate that one thing. You know, it's like that meal. I'll never give you a 10. I'll never give you a 10 because I don't like you. But you ate that one thing. You ate that one thing. I'll give you a 7. I'll give you a 7. Taylor, you ate that down. I will give Miss Mamas that. All right. I will give Miss Mamas that she ate down in the video for the Fatal Affiliate. I mean, she was changing wigs. She was changing costumes. She was giving legs and hips and body. That's what she was giving. So I appreciate Taylor and all the effort that should have went into the album went into the music video. I also add for my album thoughts that after listening to it a couple more times, I do like Actually Romantic. I know everybody's she's this and trying to react to it. Girl, let the girls fight. Girls do not have to always get along. Let the girls fight. Let the girls fight. Let the girls fight. And I actually like Actually Romantic. I will give her that. And I also like, this is the third and final song that I like off of that album, but like maybe not because I'm kind of also freaking Elizabeth Taylor. Elizabeth Taylor was really a nothing song, but again, I really like the production on Elizabeth Taylor. The lyrics are shit, but I like the production of Elizabeth Taylor because like literally that's the whole fucking chorus is Elizabeth Taylor. Like no story, just Elizabeth Taylor. It's like, girl, she can't even come up with like a really good story for it. Do you think it's forever? But the production is like it's so dreamy. It's a really dreamy production, and I really do like strings, because I'm a string girly, I'm a string major, I play violin and viola. So me hearing them strings, ooh girl, you know, what Sabrina Carpenter said, tears run down my thighs. Tears ran down my thighs when I heard them strings. And it's really stringy and dreamy the whole time. But the ooh, but I like that Taylor. So the production so basically I like 2.5 songs. Because I like Fatal Ophelia, I like Actually Romantic, and then I like the production on Elizabeth Taylor. Do you think it's forever? You know, I do like that. I very, very much like that. But yeah, those are just my little extra last minute thoughts from the future. Now let's get back to, you know, the podcast. Let's get back to the podcast.
Like,
what?
No.
Literally. And it's just like, girly pop. And I think what's interesting about this one, I think this was like her last chance, her last straw, because like I was explaining, the public has, the 2020s, like it's been 5 years of us just getting more and more aggravated and annoyed with Taylor Swift. And I think that, and I tell this to Thomas all the time, for whatever reason, I think that we as a culture have decided that Taylor Swift is every white girl we've ever hated. Every white girl that got picked first. Every white girl that was, you know, the guy picked was prettier than us. Every white girl that got picked for a job that we weren't qualified for. It's supposed like the pressures and fears,
every Karen
and
we've ever
anxiety,
dealt with in a Walmart.
like literally, and it's like we have just decided that Taylor Swift will pay for the sins of every white girl who ever lived. And I've never understood that like inherent animosity towards her. And you know, I think a lot of racist Swifties will say it's black fans. It's not just black people, because anybody who breathes on the internet is like, oh, I think it is a cheap, easy way to try to act like you know music, to try to act like you are like locked into what's going on in the industry, is to say, I don't listen to Taylor. You listen to Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift. Taylor. Like, I feel like that is an easy way to have an opinion of. I'm not like other girls. Like, I don't listen to Taylor, and that'll instantly get you cool points.
Yeah, I think it's also interesting because like the both of us are lefties, so we watch a lot of leftist creators or left-leaning creators, and like I feel like we can both agree, being lefties who like Taylor Swift, it's a challenge because everybody else on our side seems to fucking hate her. It's really frustrating because it's like yes, she's a billionaire. Yes, she's very privileged. Yes, she is a white woman. But as you said, she is kind of the lightning rod for everything we hate about like white feminism or like neoliberalism, girl boss capitalism. Even if there are things that she might not her history might not lean into, like, you know, the MAGA stuff, which we will get into.
Taylor Swift comes out against Trump.
I don't care if they write that. I'm sad that I didn't 2 years ago, but I can't change that. I'm saying right now that this is something that I know is right, and you guys, I need to be on the right side of history. And if he doesn't win, then at least I tried.
Taylor, here's the problem.
I just want to read you what I wrote, and I'm going to try to start. I just really want you to know that this is important to me.
I
This
totally
is something.
agree with the issue.
Have you heard?
Yes, I've read the entire thing, and the bottom line right now, I'm terrified. I'm the guy that went out and bought armored cars.
I worry for her safety as much as anybody does, maybe more. It really is a big deal to me. She votes against fair pay for women. She votes against the reauthorization of the Violence Against Women Act, which is just basically protecting us from domestic abuse and stalking. She thinks that if you're a gay couple, or even if you look like a gay couple, you should be allowed to be kicked out of a restaurant. It's really basic human rights, and it's right and wrong at this point, and I can't see another commercial and see her disguising these policies behind the words Tennessee Christian values. Those aren't Tennessee Christian values. I live in Tennessee. I am Christian. That's not what we stand for. I need to do this. I need you to forgive me for doing it, because I'm doing it.
She kind of becomes the representation to that. And I feel like there are a lot of good faith critiques to be made about her. But I feel like it's also very easy to fall into the she's an absolute devil and nothing she's ever done is good, and actually all of her music is shit, to try and perform your progressiveness. It kind of reminds me of like discourse about J.K. Rowling and whether or not she's a good writer, whether or not Harry Potter is good, because we use that as a proxy as to how awful a person J.K. Rowling is, like personally and politically.
Yeah, and for y'all who are like kind of not getting it, but like I'm gonna put it in terms you understand. So, for my audience, y'all know, if you are in my audience, or in Thomas's audience, you are probably a fan of Ruby. And I remember.
Oh boy.
I remember I think you know where I'm going. I remember when the Vic Mignogna situation happened, and he was, for good reason, kicked off of Ruby. And the culture war that caused within the fandom. And me and you, in the past, when me and you used to not get along, and me and the Unmentioned would get into it about how I think that while yes, the sex pest shit is ridiculous and crazy and he needs to be shunned for that, I think that y'all are performing disgust with his work because y'all don't like him and y'all want to perform being progressive. I'm not gonna sit here and act like Vic Mignogna didn't eat his role as Crow. I'm not gonna act like Vic Mignogna wasn't good in Full Metal Alchemist or whatever other thing he was good in. I'm not shitting on him because of his ability. I'm shitting on him because he's a sex pest and he harms women. Like,
yeah,
so,
read that, because like it's this tendency that we have, like, we kind of overinflate the importance of like art and media when it comes to like their political influence. Not to say that that stuff doesn't matter. It very much does. But for a lot of people, that's their whole world when it comes to political shit because it's easiest. And just because someone is a bad person politically, that doesn't necessarily mean that their art or their work is going to be bad. And it's important to reckon with that. And also vice versa. Just because someone is good politically doesn't mean that their work is good.
Because I think that also, there's so many, like, you know how many talented, beautiful celebrity people are bad people in real life? Do you know how many
I feel like there's been a string of them the last couple decades, yeah.
Literally, I mean, I could just think off the top of my head, Bill Cosby, R. Kelly, Michael Jackson. I mean, just to name a few, great actors, great musicians, great vocalists. Terrible people, sex pests, rapists, child
trash of the
earth. Trash of the earth. But hey, makes great music. Shit, I was listening to Michael Jackson. I'm on my way home. Like, still listening to that man's music. But the reality of what these people do, you have to reckon with that. And I feel like people have a hard time doing that. But to just sort of like move forward, like, let's talk about the social media backlash, because not only is Taylor getting backlash from people who don't like Taylor Swift and people who claim to not know anything about Taylor Swift, but also people who like her. Swifties are like, oh girl, my sister's burned too many bridges and there's nothing I can do for her now.
They're like, we have to leave her. We have to go. We have to run.
So what do you think about the Swiftie backlash?
It's kind of interesting because I have seen a real divide among Swifties. Specifically, you've been showing me a lot of Swiftie stuff coming from like Instagram and, Twitter and TikTok. But I am mostly confined to the YouTube space. I don't really venture out there unless someone brings it to me. And the thing I've seen is a real divide in the Swifties who are like, oh, I'm sorry, Taylor, this is dog shit. This album specifically, and other Swifties who are defending this album like to the bitter end, who are like, y'all just hate fun. She doesn't have to write anything seriously, but also this is serious, and also this is a really great album, and you just need to accept that she's happy and in love and telling you about it. And I'm kind of fed up. I'm real fed up. I am with the vibe that we can't critique things even from people that we love because that's an insult to the artist apparently, but also the people who are like, and this is evidence that she's never written anything good and she's a hack, and also she's never written about sex until this album, because all y'all clowns.
So like, let's talk about
all of
that.
you can catch these hands.
I sent you a TikTok like a day or two after it came out. And it was a lovely white woman. And I'm going to put her TikTok in here.
Lovely white woman.
Lovely white woman. I'm going to put her TikTok in here so you can hear verbatim what she said.
Taylor Swift's new album is many things. Unfortunately, good is not one of them. I knew the album wasn't going to be good as soon as the title was revealed, but the promo pics made me curious, so I have listened to the album in full. And now, having listened to it, the album's problem is glaringly obvious. The problem is Taylor Swift is aging out of being a white girl. Before you scroll, let me cook. When Taylor was a teenager, she wanted to be a pop star, so her parents decided to take the country route. Keep in mind, this is the 2000s. Pop music was highly sexual, it was sleazy, and then you had things like bling rap. It's not a place for a little white girl. Country music, on the other hand, loves a little white girl. And she's blonde, they'll eat her up. So her family moved from Pennsylvania to Tennessee to launch her country career. That's why for the first several years of her career, she faked a southern accent. She was trying to fit in, seem authentic. Once the pop landscape started to change the late 2000s, early 2010s, that's when she started to transition to making pop music. And now to talk about white girls. White girls don't have sex. They don't know what that is. White girls they're cute, they're adorable, they're like dolls, they're precious, they have to be protected. Do you remember a couple months ago whenever parents would bring their kids to Sabrina Carpenter shows and then act aghast because Sabrina Carpenter, who is a highly sexual artist, was referencing sex on stage? Of course they were, because how could a short, cute little white girl who is also blonde, a blonde, cute little white girl, how could she possibly know what sex is? It's the assumption. Women having sexual freedom and willingly engaging in sex is highly associated with blackness. You can see this most clearly when it comes to things like Disney and Nickelodeon stars. Miley Cyrus, she was Hannah Montana, all-American girl. And what does she do whenever she wanted to shed the Disney image and say, hey, I'm not just a little girl anymore? She releases Can't Be Tamed in bangers. Ariana Grande, another cute little white girl. What does she do whenever she wants to shed the childhood image? She releases Dangerous Woman in Sweetener. They would do things like hang out with rappers. They would incorporate black music styles into their own music. So that way whenever they'd be sexual, it's like, oh, I'm not just a little white girl anymore. And over time, they would drift away from that because that wasn't who they authentically were. They were just using that as a way to escape the chains of being a white girl. Taylor Swift has never had to do that, and why would she? She makes being a white girl so fucking profitable. And the thing about Taylor Swift is that being a white girl is not just profitable for her, it's her entire brand. Because she's just like so awkward. And whenever she dances on stage, she's like bad because she's like awkward, and she loves like cats and baking and like hanging out with her fans. And she would like to continue with this forever, except for one small problem. Taylor Swift is 35 years old, and it's not like she's shown signs of aging or anything, but the brand of being a white girl is very much being a white girl. What happens in a few years whenever she's 40? What happens whenever she starts to get wrinkles? If you're middle-aged, it's not cute anymore to be awkward. So she's aging out of being a white girl, but she doesn't have a brand or really even a sense of self outside of being a white girl. Also, low-key, this is the entire key to her relationship with Travis Kelce, which is not going to go well, but that's a story for another day. And keep in mind, the world has been moving on. An artist like Sabrina Carpenter could not exist 10 years ago. There was nowhere in the pop landscape for her. For like a cute little white girl who's that sexual, it didn't exist. And then on top of that, things have been rapidly changing politically. So people want different things from women now. And the life of a showgirl is a testament to Taylor's inability to rise to the occasion. Like on the song Wish List, oh, everybody wants bright lights and designer things, and they want like a fat ass. But me, then we get to the chorus, but me, I just want to have all of your kids. I want to have all of your kids, and then I want to live in a house, and I want the driveway to have a basketball hoop in it for our kids. And Taylor's personal struggle between her being her own woman and her being a cute little white girl is really embodied by the song Wood. It's called Wood because it's in reference to Travis Kelce's, that. But the song isn't sexual at all, because the song isn't about sex. It's about a woman justifying the fact that she has sex. The song starts with her picking petals off of a daisy. Oh, he loves me not. Taylor portrays herself as being super insecure until Travis Kelce digmatizes her and opens up her eyes. And keep in mind, white girls cannot be sexual beings. It's not that she has sexual feelings, it's that a man came along and unlocked it in her. The curse was lifted. You guys, it's not about sex at all. It's about love. His love was the key that opened my thighs. I don't have sexual feelings. I'm just a little white girl. Because this album is supposed to be her embodying her sexual energy, thus, life of a showgirl. But Taylor either feels unable or isn't willing or whatever it is you want it to be. Taylor doesn't actually embody it. She doesn't explore it because the embodiment of her sexual energy would come at the expense of the brand of Taylor Swift. It's seemingly not compatible, or at least she thinks or her team thinks that it's not compatible. So she has to be her own fully embodied grown woman in order to keep up with the times, but she also has to be like a cute little white girl in order to keep up with the brand of Taylor Swift. And in trying to do both, she successfully does nothing. I would be really curious to know if the album was even her idea, especially since so many of the songs sound like rejected tracks off of some of her old albums. Also, how are you gonna have an album called Life of a Showgirl and yet not a single fucking song on the album has a brass section? Showgirl music is big band, it's blaring horns, it's a hell of a lot of fun. And it just did not exist on this album. Not to mention, none of the songs actually have anything to do with being a showgirl, and really not even the song The Life of a Showgirl. Like, she could have just used the word follies once, and I would have been satisfied. But discussing why the music isn't good sonically is not really the purpose of this video. If you have any questions or you disagree with me, please let me know. I love thinking about white women, and Taylor Swift, she's the embodiment of it, she really is.
But I'm just gonna talk about it a little bit. So, you remember that video I sent you like a week or two ago about the girl talking about how Taylor aged out of being a white girl?
Yes, unfortunately I do.
I do think there was some valid points in there. However, like, I do think, like, what she was talking about, like, the time that she was in the industry and, like, you know, talking about sex from a perspective of, like, pleasuring men but not necessarily pleasuring herself, and, you know, how that could be awkward, and, you know, how wood is a combination of that, and she's talking about sex now. But I think that, like, where she kind of fumbled a little bit is I think that, I think it's like that misstep of like, because you are coming from this, from the angle of like, I'm just a lefty that's critiquing media, rather than like an actual Swiftie person who like knows her discography. People
or
who
even
know her
like
discography,
just someone doing their research. Like, you don't have to be a Swiftie to know her discography. Just saying.
Like people who know her discography or do a little research, baby. Back in 2019, I was bumping "He's Got My Heartbeat," skipping down 16th Avenue, like, and then she said Annie. I was like, oh girl, you are sprung for Joe Alwyn. So Taylor Swift has had a couple of songs she explicitly talking about doing the devil's tango, doing the do, you know. I think even to the point where like you used to not like Dress. You used to not like the song Dress.
Yeah, because like I'm an infamous prude where like sex in general has kind of like always kind of made me uncomfortable to talk about it. Like, I've kind of come around to like seeing the intimacy of it being discussed to where I actually really appreciate Dress now. I think it's just there was always a disconnect where I didn't understand the emotions behind someone writing about it. My brain would always go, "This is filth! Filth! Where is my romance?"
You know, and yeah. So I think like that specifically, where it's like, you know. But also I think that video kind of painted Taylor, and I think this is like not just as a video obviously, but in general, the cultural conversation around Taylor Swift has always been like, she's fake, she's a snake, she's calculated, she's cold, she's a mean girl, she has a clique of girls around her that are thin and white and dainty, and she's, you know, kind of this Regina George figure in the industry. And whether that's true or not, I mean, I'm going to lean towards the opinion that is not really true, but I think there are truth in certain statements. I do think that, like, Taylor Swift is very smart and very calculating about her image and her brand, but I also feel like, does that make her a mean girl, or does that just make her good at her job?
Right,
like, if you want to be
the question of, like, does that make her insincere? I don't think so.
I think all of the musicians that are at the top and doing it at the level that Taylor is doing it at have to be intelligent, smart business people.
Shocker, you have to be good at marketing for your art to succeed.
But I also feel like she can't be that smart because she released this album.
Yeah, that's true. Well, you know, she did admit that she dumbed down a lot of things for Travis on this album, so, you know.
Which, you know, and let's just talk about how, I want to get into and really discuss the fact that this album and this like album cycle or whatever, there have been no music videos. There's been like not a lot of like, it's like social media has been promoting the album, I feel like, more than she has really.
Oh, guys. Okay, see, I'm kind of interested in that because, like, I don't use social media because I haven't seen a lot. Although I have seen some things where apparently she's being accused of using AI in some of promo videos for the album, which, like, girl, why? Like, I thought you were advocating for artists' rights, girl. What's happening?
Not even just that, but it's also just, like, the fact that it's just, like, okay, like, she said that, okay, a big criticism of Taylor has been that she uses the industry as a game and she dominates the charts by having deluxes and variants and multiple variants, and she's gonna put a couple of tracks on this version but then a couple of tracks on this version and then a couple
Don't
of tracks
forget the vinyls and vinyl variants also.
And then the vinyl variants, and then if you buy all of these different vinyl variants, it'll all come together to make a clock, and it's like, okay.
Literally, she had like the TikTok where she was like, it's a clock. And I'm like, oh girl, I mean, it's kind of cute, but girl, this is also just devastating to people's wallets and the environment. Ooh, girl.
You know, and it's just like, okay guys, like, and I don't know, I just feel like Taylor, I think that she has a lot of yes men around her. And I think this album really confirmed that for me, because I think that your producers and your team and the like corporate executives had to sign off on this shit and be like, no,
they all
yeah,
looked her in the
good.
eye and said, yes, Miss Swift, this does eat.
Go ahead. And it's just like, girl. So I can imagine. I mean, she's friends allegedly with Ed Sheeran and Selena Gomez and Beyonce and all these and SZA, and I find it hard to believe that she played this for her friends and they were like, "Yes, Queen, drop this."
It really does feel like ever since Folklore and Evermore, she's just become, like, as you said, too big to fail, and that has also made it so people go like, oh, but I can't critique her because obviously she knows what she's doing.
And it's like, girl.
And I'm like, are you sure? Are you sure about that?
You know, but yeah, but let's also talk about people who do not like the people who are non-Swifties that hate on this album, because I made a joke earlier about people being like, I don't even listen to Taylor Swift, and I don't even like, as if
yes. Okay, cause the people who think that by not doing research that makes them so uber duper valid and cool and better than you. It's giving. It's giving not like other girls energy. That's what it's giving.
Yeah, that's what it's giving. And also just like, I think that a lot of, because of the comparisons between her and black women this decade, it's been a lot of comparisons, mainly with Beyonce. I often find those compare and contrast quite vapid and shallow and lacking any real depth, because Beyonce and Taylor Swift are fundamentally different artists. And I think people on both sides of the spectrum will say, oh, well, Beyonce's better than Taylor Swift because Beyonce has a big, beautiful, powerful, booming voice, and she can dance, and she, you know, she has big boobs, she has a big butt or whatever, and you know that's why, and that's why.
Yeah, things that are absolutely relevant to your career as a songwriter and a singer. Your ass.
You know, and it's like, and like Taylor isn't, because Taylor's voice isn't as strong, and she doesn't have big boobs or a fat ass, and she's da-da-da-da. And it's just like, and then, you know, but I will say this. Racist Swifties do not help, and I do think that, I think she's kept a lot of racist Swifties from her country era, and I think that, I will put this on her, that I think that she needs to do a better job of communicating who the fuck she is, because if you have racist Swifties to this degree where like that's just like a running gag between Swifties and Atlanta fans that y'all are racist and like that's what y'all are known for, I think that's a problem, and I think that I would have to cultivate a new relationship with my audience to where they would know that that shit's not okay.
Yeah, like actively denouncing it. It's so bizarre too, because in the Lover era she like made such a big show about like, you know, appearing like progressive, and
there is no such thing as a slut. There is no such thing as a bitch. There is no such thing as someone who's bossy. There's just a boss. We don't want to be condemned for being multifaceted. Sorry, that was a real soapbox.
No, oh
Why
my
did
God,
I say sorry? You're just...
It's because we're trained to say sorry.
Yeah, we legitimately are. We're like, sorry, was I loud? In my own house that I bought with the songs that I wrote about my own life.
Liberal and like fuck Trump, but she hasn't really done anything like that since. She's kind of gone back to the whole I'm gonna be quiet for the most part, and she'll like sporadically talk about politics, and it'll usually be in a more liberal way, but like, girl, why are you not like out here like, you know, talking more and, you know, denouncing that racist abhorrent part of your fan base and saying you are not welcome, you clearly don't understand what my music is about? Like, I'm so confused by this. Like, what happened to the boldness, the courage? Was it all fake, bitch?
You know, I just think in the long run of history, that's going to do her more of a disservice than a service. And I think that, because she talked about this in the Miss Americana documentary, that like, coming from country, and this is how women in country survive. They do not talk about politics. They can sing about love and tractors and men breaking their hearts. But I think she said this in an interview once. I'm just a singer. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say about politics. You know.
Yeah, and it was when she was young too.
You know, and it was very, very much. And I love this lady. Prayers up to her, because I know she's on her deathbed. It's very much the Dolly Parton effect, where like Dolly Parton loved Dolly Parton down, but as the queen of country music, Dolly Parton gets by on peace, very, very much rhythmic, peace and love and friendship. I love everybody, and I got black fans and white fans and gay fans and da-da-da-da. And do I genuinely believe that she like loves these communities that support her and love her? Of course I do, because I do think Dolly is a very lovely person that loves people. But I also think that Dolly Parton very clearly is a woman that comes from a certain time and a certain place. And I think that the people around her have certain values. I think they raised her with those values. And I think to an extent, she has them, but she's also smart enough to not vehemently express them. Very similar, Kristen Chenoweth. Kristen Chenoweth is also very, hi, hello, I'm just a pretty Southern belle. I would never. But then when Charlie Kirk died, everybody was shocked when she said, there are some things that he said that I agreed with.
Yeah, I remember you brought that story up to me, and I was like, what? Wait, what? Kristen? What?
Kristen Chenoweth. And it's like, it's very, it's Kristen fucking Chenoweth. I don't understand what it's just very, very much like fundamentalist white Christian ideology with these kinds of people. And again, I still love Dolly Parton. I still love Kristen Chenoweth. Hell, I love Reba, But it's at the same time, it's like, let's be so fucking for real. Let's be so fucking for real. Where these women come from. So you can't really be shocked that these are their politics, but they skate by in Hollywood, they skate by in quote unquote liberal America, because they are most of the time are smart about what they say. And I feel like Taylor is more and more every day kind of sliding into that post her relationship with Joe Alwyn.
Yeah, I feel like so with Taylor, she is very calculated about her image, and she seems to be very obsessed, especially now with like being this global superstar who dominates the charts. And one of the things you have to do to get mass appeal is you have to be inoffensive as possible, which does include being quiet on these things. Like, do we know what she personally believes? No, but I feel like it almost doesn't really matter, because if you are quiet on all these issues as the country is literally burning the fuck down, then yeah, I'm not really surprised a lot of people are reading more conservative tendencies into her. Like, personally, I think she's like more centrist, neoliberal. I don't really care so long as I get my bag. But, you know.
And I think that, but then at the same time, I feel like there has to be a balance to where, like, I don't necessarily care about every celebrity's politics. And what I mean by that is, like, obviously if Taylor was like, came out and said, I'm for Trump, I'm MAGA, I'm deleting all of my Taylor Swift from Spotify, obviously. But like,
oh, we'd have to kill the bitch. We'd have to cut the bitch.
Like, we definitely would have to kill. But at the same, but no, yeah, no, it's just that, like, I lost my train of thought. But no, it was just like, yeah, no, I'm just not gonna always look for political opinions from people that, like, are very clearly suspect. And I don't know, but I just feel like,
I do think it's also, we also have a tendency to, like, look to celebrities for guidance on these things because we have such a strong celebrity culture, when it's like, should we be like listening to these people who might not be like qualified to tell us about like politics and stuff? Like, why do we feel a need to be this obsessive about it? Like, yes, they do influence the culture and the opinions of people, but is it really our business to know these things about them when they're just kind of singing for us?
You know, I don't know. It's like, I kind of want to balance. I do kind of want them to speak out about things that matter, but I'm not going to obsess about it to the point of it being like, this is who we need to listen to. Because I'll say it, Kamala Harris got literally every endorsement under the fucking sun.
And it wasn't enough.
And she still lost. She still lost badly.
I'm still mourning the coconut tree.
You know. But like, okay, but like, we're already talking about it. So how do you feel more about like this MAGA Taylor shit? And like, how do you feel about the transition between her relationships with Joe Alwyn to Maddie Healy to Travis Kelce?
Okay, here we fucking go. Okay, so I'll start with the Taylor thing because it's the root of this. Taylor has always given the vibe of very hopeless romantic. She's very much like, I must find my one true love and have a beautiful life with him, and I'm gonna sing about it because, you know, apparently I'm good at that or whatever. And we only really know about these relationships because of the things that she writes about, and it does feel icky talking about it, but at the same time it is kind of relevant here, where with Joe Alwyn, she wrote some of her best love songs, like, fucking period. Like, it was like the best run of her songwriting was while she was with him, the albums that came out during their relationship. I feel like the vibe that she gives is she wanted to get married to him and he did not want to get married to her. There could be a myriad of reasons for that, but it feels like since then she's gotten really obsessed with the idea of marriage. And so she's just kind of gotten even more like desperate and cagey for like that idea of true love and marriage. She had that fling with Maddie Healy. He had that whole string of like controversies and like racist shit with him, and just, she was very much like, I don't care what the world says, he is my one true love. Which, like, girl, no. I feel like that's kind of where like the ideas of more right-wing leaning Taylor kind of started taking root more, because it very much gives the vibe of like, I may believe of a white woman who's like, you know, I might be fine with gays, and like I might like to say I'm not racist, but you know, my boyfriend clearly is, and I'm willing to excuse him because, you know, I'm down bad or whatever. And when she got with Travis, there was this running joke that like we always have where Max was always like, so you know Travis Kelce's a Republican, right? And I'm like, he is? What? Like,
girl, and you thought I was kidding, but
because like I don't know, because like, girl, I don't know celebrities, I don't know football, I don't know how sports ball works or whatever, but like I don't,
but still,
I admittedly I don't really care much about Travis, so I have not gleaned into his politics a lot, but the vibe, especially with this album, I think, where she's like talking about settling down and having that suburban life and a bunch of kids who look just like Travis, the vibe people are gleaning from it is like, oh no, she's giving trad wife. She's giving, I'm gonna be a dainty white woman who bakes with my like traditionally masculine macho husband, and we will have several children for the white race and breed. And it's like, in this current political climate, it's kind of like, girl, like I understand being a hopeless romantic, and like there's nothing wrong with wanting a life where, you know, you have a nice husband and you have a bunch of kids and stuff. Like if that happens to align with you, sure, but like the optics of all the events leading up to this are not great.
yeah, and like in terms of like the Travis Kelce thing, I think like I think Lover, just to talk about the Lover era, she was really wanting to be more politically outspoken. I think she wrote one of her best songs she's ever written in the Lover era called Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince. And it was kind of like this high school allegory for American politics. And it was like brilliant. We loved it. We ate.
Specifically that 2016 election.
Yeah. And then like when and I think during this era is when Trump bit back at her, being like, oh, she's a nasty, nasty woman, to the point where he still holds a grudge to this day. I mean, recently at this year's Super Bowl, he insulted Taylor Swift, and Travis Kelce literally had just said, before he insulted Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce was like, oh, it's an honor to have him in the crowd tonight, because, you know, Trump went to the Super Bowl. So, you as a man are saying you're happy that Trump, the man that has in the past made derogatory comments about your girlfriend, and that night also made derogatory comments about your girlfriend, you're happy he's in the audience, and then after he said this about your girlfriend, you say nothing?
Crickets.
You say nothing? Crickets? Oh, you're MAGA. You're MAGA.
I hate to use the real man card, but that's not real man behavior. That's not.
It's not. It's a bitch made behavior. And I don't listen to the Travis Kelce podcast a lot, but I do see the clips that go viral, and a lot of times it'll be like him just kind of saying dumb man shit, and it's like, ooh, like,
yeah,
this is not getting.
I watched, I skimmed it like when it came out, just because I was like curious for more information about the album. I was like, can we get to the album, please? And it very much is giving like they're kind of cute together, but like some feels off, especially like Taylor bringing up baking so often. I'm like, okay, that's nothing wrong with baking, but like, you know.
You know, and like, yeah, so the MAGA Taylor, so, but you know what? I want them to get married. I want them to have kids. I want her to live her life and then come back to us in 5 years with an album. And then hopefully she'll have something to talk about.
Quietly, he's hoping for a divorce album.
Not necessarily, because she broke up with like Joe Alwyn, and that was a 5-year relationship, and we got Midnights. So like heartbreak.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, heartbreak doesn't always guarantee a great album. And again, it's not even that, because let's really talk about the Midnight shit. It's not even that Midnight's was like a deplorable, terrible album. It's that other specifically black women artists made better albums that year, and Taylor Swift was still put on this pedestal as a white woman's. And that was just an outrage. And I feel like, as someone who's a Swiftie, but as someone who's also black and someone who's also queer, I just feel like that it's a really weird sort of feeling to have, where like you admire someone and you think, yes, you do deserve acclaim, you do deserve awards, but so do these other artists. And I feel like there was even a microcosm of this incident, like where I was introducing Thomas to all of these albums and things, and as our friendship was growing, but I noticed, I was like, now Miss Taylor, Taylorisha, Elizabeth, Ophelia, Allison Swift is like number one girly, but when I'm introducing you to Chloe and Halle and SZA and Beyonce and Ashanti and, you know, anybody else who was black that I was trying to put him onto, at times it felt like those artists would be dismissed, not outright because they were black, but it would just, I feel like it would be under the guise of things like, oh, well, I'm just a sad bitch girl, and I just like I like storytelling, and I like deep introspective shit. And then one night I just had to call out, I was like, listen, is it that you like things that are deep and introspective, or is it that these artists are black and you find it more hard to essentially see them as human? Because the Control album was a cry for help from Miss SZA. The Control album was her talking about feeling vulnerable, talking about body dysmorphia, a heartbreak, I mean, men leaving her feeling lost in her 20s, her feeling like a failure. A lot of sad bitch vulnerable shit on Control and SOS. All SZA does is make depressing music about how fucking sad she is and her and you know, how we lack humanity as people. You know, Beyonce makes a lot of bops. Beyonce made a whole divorce album. She made a whole fucking divorce album about the destruction of her marriage and how she had to rebuild it brick by brick. You know, her love for her children, her body not being the same after having those children. You know, her strained relationship with her father. Like, the black women and black artists go out of their way to turn our trauma into art, and our pain is put on display for the world to see. And, you know, at the end of the day, it's always going to be given up to somebody else because they don't look like us, or they have a body that is deemed to be better than our bodies. And it's like, our pain and what we go through and our emotions are not seen as real or as valid or as human. So you can't empathize with us the same way that you can empathize with Taylor. And, you know, eye-opening experience.
And I remember when you pointed it out, I was like, am I doing that? And I'm really happy that you did, because whiteness is a hell of a drug. It's something that happens and you don't even realize that it's happening, because it's like, the way I can describe it is that your brain is wired in such a way where you feel like you can't really connect to someone unless you have like that shared aspect, and you don't even realize that your brain has been wired like that. The way I can describe it is like there was this barrier that was almost like keeping me from emotionally connecting to, like, say, an artist like Beyonce when she's talking about all these things. It was like something, it's the whiteness. The whiteness is like this barrier, this cage almost, that makes it harder for me to like see my experiences in someone who is different from me. And it's something that can be dismantled and has like been, I don't think completely dismantled. I feel like that's a lifelong process of like deprogramming and de-brainwashing yourself. It's something that you have to actively put work into. And because I specifically, I remember when Renaissance came out, like you had mentioned that I don't really talk about it a lot, that I kind of slept on it, and I very much did, because I could acknowledge that it was a good album, but again, the whiteness barrier kept me from like fully appreciating it as a body of work and all the emotions that were on it. And I was re-listening to it recently, and I think because I had done a lot more of the work to dismantle that in my head, I was able to enjoy it far more than I could before. And I think it's a thing that's hard for most white people to do. Again, it's because like we feel like if we admit that, we're admitting we're terrible, irredeemable people, when it's like, it's not about that. Racism and that shit is baked into like all of us, and we have to do the work into de-brainwashing ourselves in that, to see the art and the humanness in each other.
Yeah, I think that was really, really well said. So to kind of round this out, I think that to counter, because I think what really frustrates me and what's really hard about being a Swiftie is just to deal with the matter of the mocking, the criticism, because a lot of people as they have said, have never listened to her a day in their life, they chose this album to listen to for content and money. So they listen to it and then they're like, this is your king, this is your king, this is your songwriting, this is your songwriting.
This is the Shakespeare of our generation.
This is the Shakespeare of our generation? Really? And like as like it's this gotcha moment, as if Swifties aren't also saying that this isn't good. So I want to actually talk about her good shit. I want to actually talk about her good shit.
Let's play the lyrics of, compare the lyrics from previous album songs to, ones from this album, because it's a very fun game. I love going, the same woman wrote both of these.
And it's like, did you girl boss too close to the sun?
Girl, I want to throw myself into the sun hearing that. Okay.
But while I pull something up, I want you to, shameless plug. Thomas did a video years ago about how Folklore is a storytelling masterpiece. I'm going to plug that. Go watch it. It's a great video.
It was before I learned how to use my mic, but I still spoke great things.
Tell the girly pops about why Folklore is so great lyrically.
Oh, good Lord. Where do I start? Folklore, for those who don't know, is an album that came out in 2020 during the pandemic, and Taylor was supposed to go on tour for Lover, but she couldn't. And so she just kind of started writing music to cope with that, and also just to cope with things that were happening in her personal life. She drew a lot from that without like admitting things were going bad in her relationship. But also she talked about how she was reading more books, she was watching more movies, and she started to pull from stories within those things. And that all culminated into Folklore, which is kind of an indie folk inspired project. The instrumentation is very it's a lot of guitars, and it's just very stripped back compared to a lot of her other work, so that it has this very folky, woodsy sound where you feel like you're being told a story by a campfire about these people you've never met, having illicit affairs, or talking about someone who betrayed them, who once was their greatest love but now is their greatest nemesis. Even songs about what essential workers and nurses were going through during the pandemic and the trauma that came with it, and comparing it to the trauma of people who've been to war and come home and never been able to speak about it. Folklore was just this amazing place where her storytelling really entered its prime, and also where she was willing to experiment with her sound to pair with that, because she had also started to work with Aaron Dessner as a producer and songwriter, and his strings on this on Folklore and on Evermore are fucking immaculate. He would write these melodies and play them on the guitar, and Taylor would just kind of listen to them and go that sounds like female rage. She would listen to them and listen to the tone of them and create a story around that. It's oh god, if you haven't seen it, watch the Long Pond documentary about her process of writing Folklore with Jack Antonoff and Aaron Dessner, because it's a gem. it's that alone is proof that she knows how to write a damn good story and a good song. She knows what the fuck she's doing, and she has no excuse for this travesty.
Literally.
Travis T.
Travis T. Swift.
Ha ha ha.
Ha ha ha. So I'm just gonna talk about one of my favorite songs, and then I'll pass it over to Thomas, and we'll do that a few times before we wrap it up. So I really love Exile by Taylor Swift, and it's kind of like the story of like this failing relationship and about how the lovers feel exiled from each other.
Second, third, and 100 chances, balancing on breaking bridges. Those eyes add insult to injury. I think I've seen this film before, and I didn't like the ending. I'm not your problem anymore. So who am I thinking now? You my crown, I'm in exile, seeing you out.
And I love it. I just think it's beautiful. I think it has great imagery. I'm gonna put like lyrics on the screen too, where it's like, I can see you staring, honey, like it's just your understudy. Like you get your knuckles bloody for me. Second, third, and 100th chances, balancing on breaking branches. Those eyes that insult to injury. Oh, that hurts. That gets me in my feels so hard. Every time I hear it. And also I feel like her performance of that, I feel like because she's not like a out of this world vocalist, people underestimate like her vocal performance. Like the way she performed Folklore, out of this world, immaculate. I don't think anybody else could have done it better. I think it was great. And then the chorus, I think I've seen this one before, and I didn't like the ending. You're not my homeland anymore, so what am I defending now? You're my town, now I'm in exile, seeing you out. I think I've seen this one before, and I'm leaving out the side door. Ooh, baby. I just feel like that's excellent. To me, that's excellent. What is that white excellence y'all are always talking about? This is it. This is it, y'all. Oh, I love Exile so much. And then, you know, I never learned to read your mind. You never even heard me out. I gave you so many signs, so many times, that it's just like they kept missing each other. They kept like missing their opportunity to fix it, and the other one feels like, I keep giving this bitch chances, I keep giving him chances, and they keep missing each other, and it was like, damn, that is so tragic.
The way the music reflected the conflict was like, it's like you said with poets, it was too focused on the words. Folklore balanced the words with the musical storytelling.
Your turn. What is your masterpiece Taylor Swift song?
Ooh girl, we gonna have to go to The Lakes. The Lakes, I think, is not only my favorite folklore song, it's my favorite Taylor song and one of my favorites overall. Okay, so basically, Folklore is 16 tracks. It ends with Hoax, which is like really sad and depressing and about being betrayed. The Lakes comes in as like a deluxe track, and it's kind of the true ending of the album, where Taylor as a narrator has escaped to an idyllic place somewhere off like in the hills, in like, it's suggested that it's the Lake District in England, which is historically a place where a lot of like writers and poets would go to disconnect from society and focus on their craft. So the idea is this narrator is escaping the troubles of the modern world and all of these people who are like hungry for their stories and dehumanizing them. They've escaped and they've run away with their muse, who is their love. And so they're talking about how they just want to stay in this very scenic, beautiful, detached place. And at the time where I was when I heard it, I really connected with it. I still fucking adore this song. Like, I think specifically the bridge is my favorite part. So it goes, I want auroras and sad prose. I want to watch wisteria grow right over my bare feet because I haven't moved in years. And I want you right here. A red rose grew up out of ice-frozen ground with no one around to tweet it, while I bathe in cliffside pools with my calamitous love and insurmountable grief.
Oh, girl.
the way that this is all worded is so beautiful. It's like this relationship that I have in private is beautiful. It's my reason to be. It allows me to create like I've never created before and feel like I can just be safe and myself. And it came out of this horrible time in my life. And now I just want to bask in this deep calamitous love, and also these horrible feelings that I'm having about life in general, the dark and the light, the good and the bad, and just sit in these feelings and just let them wash over me. And that, I think, is the overarching vibe of folklore. It is literally being in your feels, sitting with your emotions and diving fully into them and coming back to like share them and almost like exercise them from you. And I love that about folklore. That
was so
speaks
beautiful.
to me.
Why am I about to cry? Like, oh.
No, because that speaks to me on such a deep, fundamental level. Like, I feel like every creator should feel that way about art. Like, it's that deepest expression of themselves and their emotions.
You know, I think that was quite beautiful. I want to talk about Miss Americana and the Heartbreak Prince, because baby, I think that's the best song off of Lover. Taylor goes, "You know I adore you. I'm crazier for you than I was at 16, lost in a film scene, waving homecoming queens, marching band playing. I'm lost in the lights. American glory faded before me. No, I'm feeling hopeless. Ripped up my prom dress, running through rose thorns. I saw the scoreboard and ran for my life." I said, bitch, the way that she was able, number one, the alliteration, but number two, the way that she was able to like describe her feelings, like watching that election, and like, again, the high school metaphor, I feel like that was, but I also feel like that was a really clever, if not cowardly way to express her fear, but also make it relatable in a way that was palatable for the general public.
Oh yeah, because you could understand it right away, and the juvenile like high school setting makes it understandable and relatable, but also kind of disarming so that the stakes aren't as high. But I think it also works on another level, because American politics in particular, especially when other people from other countries describe their view of American politics, they always describe how like cutthroat and gamified it is. Like, we treat our politics like sports, like our political teams are sports teams, which, you know, is part of why we're like undyingly loyal to them, even if it doesn't make any fucking sense. And also why we don't give a shit about actual policy. We just care about who wins.
Yeah. And then and like, she goes, "My team is losing, battered and bruising. I see the high fives between the bad guys. Leave with my head hung. You are the only one who seems to care. American stories burning before me. I'm feeling hopeless. The damsels are depressed. Boys will be boys then. Where are the wise men? Darling, I'm scared." Oh!
If that ain't the 2016 and the 2024 election,
and
I don't know what is.
the 2024 elections. It's like, this is what's really going on, y'all. And then on top of that, the prose goes with the melody. Like,
I could literally hear the music as you said the lyrics.
Literally. And then the bridge ain't down, because the bridge is like, cause nobody, and I don't want you to go. I don't really want to fight, because nobody's gonna win. I think you should go home. And I don't want you to go. I don't really want to fight, because nobody's gonna win. It repeats. And I'll never let you go, because I know this is a fight that someday we're gonna win. To put a lot of hope at it. And then, you know, the strings go da na 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 na, and then, you know, chorus, and it ends. But like, still, I don't know. But like, even the chorus when she says, they whisper in the hallway, she's a bad girl. Like, Trump still is on her neck for this album to this day. To 2025, he's still like, that Taylor Swift, a very, very naughty lady, a very bad lady, a very bad person. Like, you know.
He is a petty son of a bitch. He is many, many things. He is definitely a petty son of a bitch.
You know. I think Mr. Americana and the Heartbreak Prince is like one of my, like, if not my favorite Taylor song, it's like my top 3. My top 3.
A respectable choice. I feel like it's very slept on. I feel like it's definitely underappreciated.
Oof. Okay. Final round. What is your another heartbreaking Taylor Swift song?
Surprise, surprise! It's also from Folklore. I'm sorry.
Okay.
To be predictable.
Surprise,
I'm lying. I'm not.
surprise.
It's My Tears Ricochet because it has
Oh, I'm
to
so
be.
glad someone had to do it. Someone had to do it. Someone had to do it. I'm glad
The
it was
best
you.
track 5 she's ever done. I'm sorry, all too well. Again, I'm lying. I'm not. So, My Tears Ricochet is essentially about the narrator is describing this person that they once knew, who they loved with all their heart, that they had this deep relationship with. It ended in like a very bitter, messy betrayal. And so it's the opening specifically has these vocals that sound like a funeral choir. So the whole song feels like it is in mourning of this relationship in light of this disastrous end, where the narrator is looking back on like the beautiful parts of this relationship, but also going, you also destroyed it though. I whatever I did, like, and I had my faults, I didn't deserve that fucking train wreck that it became. So immediately the first lyrics I just want to go are literally the first lyrics of the song.
We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room. And if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Even on my worst day, did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me? 'Cause I loved you, I swear I loved you, till my dying day.
We gather here, we line up, weeping in a sunlit room, and if I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Even on my worst day, did I deserve, babe, all the hell you gave me? 'Cause I loved you, I swear I loved you till my dying day. Immediately, like, just the images that she's conjuring of are giving funeral. It's giving that we are in mourning. We are decked out in funeral black. The I'm on fire, you'll be made of ashes too. Like, you're coming after me to destroy me, but you're also destroying yourself. Like, it's really heartbreaking, and I feel like everyone can kind of like see themselves in this song. Lord knows I do. Max knows plenty about that.
Oh yes. I think we can all like have a relation to it. But yeah, I remember you were going through it with that. Yeah.
We know the lore. We know the lore.
But yeah.
God.
Shout out to that oh no, keep going.
I was just gonna say, I also love the final chorus going into the bridge. Well, it's not the final chorus, it's second to last, but it goes into the bridge. I didn't have it in myself to go with grace, because when I'd fight, you used to tell me I was brave. And if I'm dead to you, why are you at the wake, cursing my name, wishing I stayed? Look at how my tears ricochet. And I can go anywhere I want, just not home. And you can aim from my heart, go for blood, but you would still miss me in your bones. And I still talk to you when I'm screaming at the sky, and when you can't sleep at night, you hear my stolen lullabies. Like,
oh, bitch, that was cold. That was nasty. That was nasty. That was a nasty
like
read.
you,
that was a nasty
like,
read she did.
You destroyed my life, but I will still haunt you because we had this rich, beautiful history together. And maybe it had to end, but it didn't have to end like that. And that's on your hands. The blood is on your hands, bitch.
Ooh, child. That was powerful. That was powerful. I think for mine, I'm going to give my last one as a Reputation song.
Reputation deserves her flowers.
Because let's just talk about Reputation. I think another reason why Showgirl just did not eat for me, because I think Reputation really solidified as Taylor as like a good storyteller to me, because she was able, because after the whole Kim Kardashian thing and with Kanye, I think she was able to like come back with this album, and she was able to tell a story about how the whole world hated her down, but she found this man that loved her, made her feel brand new, and loved her despite all of that. And she's like, you know what, y'all can all, because the story of this album was, yeah, I'm petty, I'm coming for y'all, but like, y'all can all hate me, I don't care, because I have him, and he has me, and we have each other, and we have each other's back. It's us against the world, and that's all I need. That's literally all I need. And I was like, whoa.
It's such a beautiful album for that reason. Like, it still frustrates me to this day that Reputation gets looked at so superficially as Taylor wanting to be like really edgy. She's in all black. She's like trying to be super edgy and cursing, but like, it's a love album. It is the story of her falling in love in the worst time of her life at that point, and as you said, finding someone who loves her for her in spite of the world hating her. And I think in that, you really do kind of have to find yourself and find a reason to love yourself. And I think that album was beautiful for that. And it's really frustrating that people act like Call It What You Want on New Year's Day don't exist.
So she's like, my castle crumbled overnight. I brought a knife to a gunfight. They took the crown, but it's all right. All the liars are calling me one. Nobody's heard from me for months. I'm doing better than I ever was. I like how that subverted that. Cause like, oh, Taylor, you doing bad. Oh, you doing bad. No, I'm actually doing better than I ever was. Yes, all this bad shit happened to me, but I'm actually having a wonderful time because I have him. And
Flo is immaculate.
And then she goes, my baby's fit like a daydream, walking with his head down. I'm the one he's walking to. So call it what you want, yeah, call it what you want to. My babies fly like a jet stream, high above the whole scene, lest we like I'm brand new. So call it what you want, yeah, call it what you want to. Ooh, like she ate that down. She ate down.
She was so down bad, and I'm so happy she was, because we got this.
And like, and this bridge might be an allusion to her Chad White era, but I feel like she cleared y'all when she said, I want to wear his initial on a chain around my neck, not because he owns me, but because he really knows me. Which is more than I can say, yeah. I recall late November, holds in my breath. Slowly I said, you don't need to save me, but would you run away with me? Oh, I hope we all find a love like this. I hope it, whether
fairy
they want to marry
tale
us
romance
or not,
right there.
I hope that we all find a love like this. Where it's like, if you have one person that loves you left in the world, it's that person. And if nobody loves you, that person is dead. Like, ooh, call it what you want, immaculate. I just feel like her albums used to be bodies of work that like would have meaning, whether it be Lover or whether it be Reputation. Hell, even 1989. I think 1989 gets shit so much on in like pop history, but because 1989 was a big album, but I feel like 1989 was, people don't understand, 1989 was satire. That was a satirical album because Taylor Swift's whole backlash and whole thing up until that point was, she dates too much. She has a lot of boyfriends.
She goes through men like a train.
She always like writes songs like about her breakups and relationships. Almost like she's like a singer and a songwriter who like writes about love and relationships. Who else do you know that writes about love and relationships and heartbreak? Nobody else does that. It's literally she's the only one that does it.
As if it's not the most popular choice for songs and music.
Ever. And by the way, not only is she the only one that writes about her heartbreaks, but men also don't do it. Men don't write about heartbreak.
No, they've never done it. They have never done it because that's gay.
And it's like even though she doesn't tell us who she's dating, we still like dig into her business and find out anyway so we can harass them, but then blame her for it as if we didn't dig it up.
Yeah, because as usual, it's the woman's fault. It's all her fault. Yeah, she made us do. Taylor, look what you made us do.
And it's like, let's all baby and coddle Jake Gyllenhaal, because poor 40-something-year-old man dating 19, 20-year-old Taylor Swift. Poor him.
I'm still not over All Too Well 10-minute version where she's like, I'll get older, but your lovers stay my age. Like, damn. Get him! So, get him again!
And it's just like, bitch, I don't know. Before I wrap it up, my final, like, some honorable mentions. Soon You'll Get Better off of Lover. It was a song about her mom, because her mom was sick, she had cancer, and she did the song with the Dixie Chicks called Soon She Got Better. That's really, really great. Check out the lyrics for that. It's really simple, it's really broke down, it's really acoustic, but I just think it's just a beautiful love letter to her mom and that time in her life, and I just feel like it makes me so sad, and it makes her so relatable and real and human. But I want to talk about this bridge on Marjorie. I think Marjorie is like the best bridge she's ever done, ever. And literally, and so the TLDR with Marjorie is from Evermore, and Marjorie is kind of like a love letter to her grandmother, who was an opera singer, and just kind of like the advice. I was talking to somebody about this today, about how like their grandmother, the conversations that they had with their grandmother while they were alive, and then the conversations that got realer with their grandmother post them being dead, and just kind of that, like, the things you remember, the things that you miss, the things that you didn't retain when they said it to you, but like post-mortem it's like really like resonating with you. So just the first half of the song is really just like giving advice that she gave her, like never be so clever you forget to be kind, and then vice versa. But then once she gets to the bridge, and she says, the autumn chill that wakes me up. You loved the amber sky so much, long limbs and frozen swims. You'd always go past where our feet could touch. And I complained the whole way there. The car ride back and up the stairs. I should have asked you questions. I should have asked you how to be. Asked you to write it down for me. Should have kept every grocery store receipt, cause every scrap of you will be taken from me. Watched you sign your name Marjorie. All your closets of backlogged dreams, and how you left them all to me. Oh, girl. I said, oh.
If you've lost someone, especially an older relative, you know that pain. You know that just like sifting through everything that they left behind and going like, I wish I talked to them more about like these things. I wish I hadn't taken everything for granted.
Yeah. Yeah, y'all. This was cute. Again, there's so much more that we want to say, but I want to be a time management girly, because I'm also recording another Halloween surprise for you guys. So, but if this video does well,
if we were to talk about this like as much as we wanted, we'd be here for 7 years. So.
Exactly, and I'm already like 24 minutes over time, so just be thankful you got the extra.
We're bad at this.
We're bad at this, but this is much better than what I normally post. So, because normally I post hours and hours of shit. So, okay, guys, like if this does numbers, if this does well, we will come back and talk about more Taylor shit. But we need to film another surprise for you guys. So, let us get the fuck to it. Do you have any closing thoughts? You know, do we want to wish Taylor well or not well, or do we want to...
My concluding thoughts are, I hope to God that Taylor, because she is kind of in this bubble where she kind of can't flop no matter what, but I really hope that she looks at the criticism that she's receiving, the good shit I mean, and reflects and finds a way back to her songwriting bag. Because watching, like, I remember in the Folklore Evermore era wondering, how's she gonna follow this up? This is like her best work. I don't know how you move on from this. The answer is not well.
Not well.
The answer is not well at all. And I hope to God if we go back to that.
I think Folklore and Evermore artistically kind of put her in this like indie box, or I feel like it transformed her into this like indie artist, and I think that's why, you know, even though like I feel like it was hard for her to move on from it. So yes, we got Midnights, and people were like, oh, Midnights is gonna be a rock album, it's gonna be this. No, bitch, it's gonna be like indie pop, you know, like
1989 at home.
Right, like, you know, fucking Antihero was great, but it's also like introspective indie pop, and like that's cool. Antihero was still a fantabulous song. It's still a great song, but it's also just like, And then she was like, okay, I tried to do the pop shit, but like let me go back to the indie shit. And then we get Tortured Poet Society. Ooh.
It's the way that you can never remember the name properly, and I think that says a lot about that era.
Society, girl. Like,
I mean, Lord knows she didn't really lean into the department aesthetics, lyrically or aesthetically. So,
the Tortured Listeners Society.
Yes, the Tortured Swifties department. That's us right now after Showgirl.
Except for Albatross and Who's Afraid of the Lonely. Those two can stay. And then we get this shit, which literally shit. So, you know.
The shit. Just the shit. No title, just garbage.
Just get this shit. I don't know. I don't have hope.
We've given up. Okay. Bold.
Yeah. So my sister, you know, at this point, I probably used this meme too many times, but my sister's burned too many bridges, and there is nothing I can do for her now. So the next time she releases something, which will probably be in 2026 or 2027, because, you know, she will not sit the fuck down.
No. She has to remind us that she has money, and she dominates the charts.
I when I be checking for it, if the people tell me it's good, I'll give it a listen, but I'm tapped out. I have given the rent. I've given the landlord my 2-week notice at the Swiftie encampment. I'm leaving. Yeah. I'm tapped out. I will always go back and listen to the albums and the songs I love, but going forward, you're gonna have to earn me back, Taylor. Well, you're gonna have to earn me back, because right now
this has really been the dark ages.
It's giving, we are never ever getting back together. It's giving that.
It's the way that these pop songs she wrote at like 21, 22 are better than ones she wrote at 34.
Literally, it's giving, we.
How does that happen?
Like,
how is that possible?
Like, I knew this album was trouble when you announced it, so shame on me. Like,
it's the way neither of us had hope. Like, I thought maybe you'd like it. I wouldn't like it, but at least we share the opinion. That's something, I guess.
Baby, we share the opinion with the world. Like, God doesn't like it. Like, the world is like, we can come together. And, you know, I just think that's sad. And I think this is going to be something that's going to be used to, like, really tarnish her legacy. I think this is going to be used to, like, be like, she was never good. You know, Taylor Swift, for
Folklore,
better or worse,
what's that?
Literally, Taylor's, I'll say this before I close out. Taylor Swift, for better or worse, has been one of the most influential artists of our generation, and so far of the century. So I think that this is a dark time, but I think that at the same time, I think she'll be all right. And I also think that the people who are gonna hate are always gonna hate. I think that people have been hating on Taylor since the 2009 VMAs, when Kanye was like, this award should have gone to Beyonce, and humiliated her from everybody. I don't think I forgot about that. So people have loved to try to humble and humiliate Taylor Swift from the beginning of her career. And, you know, she's kept trucking. And I don't say this to be like, poor little white girl, but like, poor little white girl. Poor little white girl.
Yeah,
no,
it's like, sadly, we're in an era where now she's given them very good ammunition.
Very good ammunition to destroy her. And if she's not going to listen to my very good advice, because you know me and her are sisters, so if she's not going to listen to my sisterly advice, then die. Then die. Then, you know.
It's giving contrapoints with, like, my good friend Hillary Clinton.
You know. Anywho, we are smoothly at 90 minutes, so we're gonna leave you to ponder what we have thought. Check out Thomas's video about folklore and how great it is, and I'm
I'll
also
hunt you
featured
down.
in that. Literally, like I'm also on that in that video. So that is a great video. Get the numbers up. Get this one up, and I'm happy to be back. So this has been Maxwell Media Inc. I'm your host, Sir Maxwell. May the power protect you. Bye bye.
Farewell, all.